I'm now going to show you some common mistakes which involve handling the needle. Let's have a look at what they are. First one I'm going to talk to you about is when you hold the handle of the needle against the guide tube too tightly. What that's going to do is bend the handle, and that's going to be rather uncomfortable and difficult to maneuver with the needle inside the skin and the muscle tissue. So if I've got a needle and I'm a little bit nervous and holding the needle too tightly, the handle against the guide tube, you're going to end up with a needle that looks a little like this. And that isn't good because, as you can see, the turning circle of this needle is rather large and very difficult to move. So you don't want to hold the needle too tightly against the guide tube. That's the first common mistake. And the way to stop that is to hold the needle very firmly, but not too strong, and don't bend it. Let's have a look at the second problem. I'll pop that needle into the sharp spin. The second problem is, of course, dropping the needle. A common problem, and when you drop the needle on the floor, once the tab has been removed, that creates a risk for everyone involved, not just you. You'll involve your patient and possibly other staff members in your clinic. So number one thing to do is to make sure that once you have removed the tab, that you grab onto that handle firmly, but not too firmly, and make sure that you've got it gripped in a pincer grip like so at all times so that it doesn't fall onto the floor. And when you're holding it like this, you need to make sure that it's perpendicular or held against the area that you're going to work on. The third and last problem that can occur is where you're going to touch the needle shaft. This occurs when you have popped the needle into the skin around the forearm, let's say. In this example, let's show you what happens. Okay, so I put this in here, I pop the needle in, and it's superficial. I have my hand here, so I'm going to remove the guide tube now, which is going to allow the needle to fall. And if my hand is here, it's going to fall onto my non-operating hand here. That's contaminated the needle shaft and can't be used. If that happens, what we have to do is to remove the needle and pop it into the sharp spin and not use it. But how do we avoid that in the first place? What we do here is we grab the needle like so and remove it, the tab, pop that into here. We do the same thing as we did before, but instead of having our hand here, because we know the needle may fall onto our non-operating hand, we make sure that the needle guide tube here is removed, but we've got our hand ready to go just here and into our pincer grip, ready to move into the muscle tissue. So it just falls into our hand.